I discovered my wife Clara cheating with Barry from college through targeted ads for their beachfront motel. Every digital breadcrumb they carelessly left behind confirmed their betrayal. Now I'm using my obsessive knowledge of algorithms to turn every advertisement into their personal nightmare. They laughed at my privacy fixation. They'll regret underestimating what a man with my skills can do when betrayed. I stand in the server room. Blue light from 3 monitors bathes my face. The room feels cold against my skin. My fingers hover over the execute button. 2 years of marriage gone. Betrayed by the 2 people I least expected. Clara, my wife. Barry, my college friend. The mouse clicks. Algorithm deployed. I watch as the screens come alive. Screen 1. Clara's phone during her quarterly business presentation. Pop-ups for divorce lawyers flood her display. Her face turns pale as colleagues stare. Screen 2. Barry at his duck herding competition. The announcement system suddenly blares. Attention attendees, Cheaters Anonymous meeting begins in 5 minutes in parking lot B. Barry Kessler, your accountability partner, has arrived. Screen 3. Their secret dinner date at Maison Rouge. Waiters approach with pamphlets about STD testing. The maitre d' offers them a special dessert, a cake shaped like broken wedding rings. I didn't expect to feel this calm. No rage, just ice-cold satisfaction flowing through my veins. They thought I wouldn't notice, I whispered to the empty room. But data never lies. I close my laptop. Phase 1 complete. The algorithms will continue without me now. I've programmed them to adapt, learn, and escalate. Every digital footprint they leave becomes ammunition. Every online interaction triggers another targeted attack. Looking back, I should have seen this coming 6 months ago. We were having dinner at home. Clara sipping her wine as I explained my latest discovery about data tracking. So Mrs. Henderson next door started getting ads for grief counseling, I told Clara, twirling pasta on my fork. She hadn't told anyone her mother died, she only thought about it, but the algorithms knew. Clara rolled her eyes affectionately. Your obsession with privacy is cute, Arthur. She reached across the table to touch my hand. Most people worry about real problems. This is real, I insisted. Everything you do online leaves traces. Apps listen through your microphone. Your location is tracked constantly. Your purchasing patterns tell companies more about you than your therapist knows. She laughed. Well, I have nothing to hide. That phrase haunts me now. Our life seemed perfect back then. My meticulously organized digital existence balanced her spontaneity. I managed our password manager, secured our accounts, and monitored for data breaches. Clara teased me but appreciated the protection. The first anomaly appeared in April, a charge at a gas station 30 miles from Clara's office when she claimed to be working late. Small, insignificant. But I noticed. I never planned to spy on my wife. I trusted her completely. But my brain captures patterns automatically. Clara's girls' trips increased from quarterly to monthly. Her phone remained face down more often. Her password changed without telling me. 6 weeks ago, everything changed. I woke up early checking email on my laptop. An ad appeared for the Seaside Haven Inn, a beachfront motel 3 states away. The exact place Clara was supposedly visiting, with girlfriends. The targeting was too specific to be coincidental. I knew instantly. The algorithms had betrayed her before she could betray me. My fingers flew across the keyboard searching for connections. My throat tightened with each new discovery. I never expected Barry to be involved. We weren't close friends anymore, but we'd remained friendly since college. His obsession with competitive duck herding was his most distinctive trait. When ads for duck herding equipment appeared on our home network during Clara's late nights, the final puzzle piece clicked. I remember the exact moment I found evidence of the burner phone. Clara had fallen asleep on the couch. Her breathing, steady, trusting. I reviewed our shared account transactions and found it, a prepaid phone purchased at a convenience store during her lunch break. That night, watching her sleep, I made my decision. I wouldn't confront them. I wouldn't give them the satisfaction of a dramatic scene, tears, and eventual forgiveness. No, I would do something far worse. You've made a critical error, I whispered to her sleeping form. You betrayed the one person who understands how the digital world watches us all. The next morning, I kissed her goodbye as usual. She had no idea I'd already started mapping every digital vulnerability in her life. Creating shadow profiles took 3 days. Manipulating data brokers took another 2. Most people don't realize how simple it is to target specific individuals if you understand the system. Advertisers do it legally every day. I just perfected the approach. I remember feeling strangely detached while setting everything up, as if the pain had frozen something inside me, leaving only cold calculation. The campaign would start small. Divorce attorney ads during Clara's presentation. Couples therapy suggestions on Barry's social media. Relevant but deniable. Then escalate precisely when they felt safe again. My hands didn't shake. My heart didn't race. I worked methodically, creating the perfect digital guillotine. You thought my obsession was harmless, I said to the empty apartment. You're about to learn it's anything but. The revenge would be slow, public, devastating. I'd ensure every friend, family member, and colleague witnessed their humiliation through seemingly random digital coincidences. They destroyed what I loved most. I would destroy everything they valued: reputation, relationships, privacy, peace of mind. Now I stand alone in this server room, watching chaos bloom across 3 screens. The hurt still lives deep in my chest, but something else has taken root alongside it. Power, control. The algorithms obey me now. They thought they were clever with their secret messages and burner phones. They never realized they were amateurs playing in a world I'd mastered years ago. Every ad they see from now on will remind them of their betrayal. Every notification will make them flinch. Every email will potentially expose another secret. I close the laptop and walk out. Tomorrow I'll go to work as usual. I'll ask Clara about her day. I'll express concern when she mentions the strange digital glitches she's experiencing. And I'll watch as the algorithms methodically dismantle everything they thought they could hide. 6 months ago, our life was normal. Clara cut vegetables for dinner while I explained how algorithms track our every move. She found my obsession amusing. Arthur, not everything is a conspiracy, she said, chopping carrots with precise movements. Sometimes an ad is just an ad. I shook my head. The neighbor got grief counseling ads the day after her mother died. She hadn't told anyone. She only thought about it. Maybe it was coincidence, Clara suggested. There are no coincidences in data, I replied. Only patterns. Most people miss. Clara rolled her eyes affectionately. She pressed a kiss to my cheek. Your brain works differently than most people's, that's why I love you. I believed her then. I thought our differences complemented each other. My methodical nature, her spontaneity, my digital vigilance, her social ease. The memory cuts deeper, now that I know the truth. Our evening routine was predictable. Dinner together, television or reading afterward, shared accounts and passwords, nothing hidden. I maintained our digital security while Clara handled social obligations. A perfect system. I never suspected anything until March. Small discrepancies appeared in our credit statements. A gas station charge 30 miles from her office. A boutique purchase she never mentioned. Restaurant bills when she claimed to be working late. I noticed patterns. It's how my brain functions. But I trusted Clara. I dismissed the warning signs. The first major red flag came during her April girls' trip. Clara had been taking these quarterly weekends for years. I never questioned them. She deserved time with friends. Looking back, I should have questioned why her friends never called our home, why no photos appeared on social media. That Saturday morning, I sat at our kitchen table reviewing privacy settings on our accounts. An ad appeared on my screen for the Seaside Haven Inn, the exact beachfront motel 3 states away where Clara was supposedly staying with girlfriends. My coffee cup froze halfway to my lips. Targeted advertising requires data, searches, visits, engagement. Why would an algorithm show me this specific motel? I cleared my browser cache, ran anti-tracking software. The ad persisted, now showing a specific room with ocean view. My heart pounded as I opened a new browser window. I started searching. Location data, account activity, browser history on our shared devices. The evidence accumulated quickly. Clara had searched for this motel repeatedly. She had called them from our home phone when I was at work. She had booked a room for two, not a girls' trip, a romantic getaway. But with who? I remember the exact moment I connected Barry to the betrayal. Clara's laptop had synchronized with our home network. In the shared history, searches for competitive duck herding equipment appeared during times Clara was home alone. Duck herding, Barry's bizarre obsession since college. Barry Kessler, my occasional golf partner. The guy who attended our wedding. Who hugged me and said, "You're a lucky man, Arthur." The same Barry who apparently was sleeping with my wife. I felt sick, physically ill. But my mind remained clear, analytical. I needed more evidence before confronting them. I never expected to become a digital spy against my own wife. It felt wrong, invasive. Yet their betrayal had shattered all normal boundaries. I tracked login locations for our streaming services, monitored Wi-Fi connections to our home network, reviewed location data from our shared family plan. The pattern became unmistakable. When Clara claimed to work late, her phone was at Barry's apartment complex. When she had conference calls, she was texting him incessantly. When she took girls' trips, they were together at beachfront motels. I didn't want to believe it. I gave her every benefit of doubt. Perhaps there was an explanation. The final confirmation came when I discovered the burner phone purchase. Hidden in our joint account transactions, buried between groceries and utilities. A prepaid phone bought at a convenience store during her lunch break. Why would my wife need a secret phone unless she had secrets to keep? That night changed everything. Clara fell asleep on the couch waiting for a work email. Her regular phone sat on the coffee table. No password protection because she had nothing to hide. I had never invaded her privacy before. Our trust had been absolute, but that trust was already broken by her actions. The text notification illuminated her screen. From B, 3 simple words. Miss you already. My world collapsed. The truth I had been assembling from digital breadcrumbs crystallized into undeniable reality. I remember watching her sleep afterward, her face peaceful, no guilt visible in her features. She looked exactly like the woman I had loved for years, the woman I thought I knew. You've made a critical error, I whispered to her unconscious form. You betrayed the one person who understands how the digital world watches us all. I didn't sleep that night, or the next. My mind calculated possibilities, confrontation, divorce, forgiveness. None felt adequate for the cold betrayal they had engineered. Then the idea came, simple, elegant, devastating. They used digital communication to conduct their affair. They left traces across the internet. They thought themselves clever with their burner phones and incognito browsing. Against a normal husband, perhaps their precautions would have worked. But I wasn't normal. I understood the invisible architecture that monitored modern life. I could use that same architecture against them. For the next week, I maintained a perfect facade. I kissed Clara goodbye each morning, asked about her day each evening. I even met Barry for our monthly golf game, watching him lie to my face about business trips that matched Clara's girls' weekends. Behind this mask of normalcy, I worked, mapped their digital vulnerabilities, identified their social connections, analyzed their professional networks, created shadow profiles linking their devices. The plan took shape, not an explosive confrontation, not a dramatic revelation, but a slow, inexorable unraveling of their secret lives through the very medium they had exploited. Every algorithm they encountered would become my weapon, every data broker my ally, every targeted advertisement a knife twist. My obsession with privacy had taught me how companies harvest and weaponize personal data. Now I would apply those same techniques with surgical precision. Clara noticed my distraction one evening. "You've been quiet lately," she said, curling against me on the couch. "Everything okay?" I smiled, kissed her forehead. "Just thinking about patterns." "Your privacy conspiracy theories again?" she teased. "Something like that," I replied. "I'm starting to see connections everywhere." She had no idea how true those words were. No idea that in 3 days, her carefully constructed deception would begin unraveling, one targeted ad at a time. I felt nothing as I finalized my plans. No anger, no sorrow, just cold determination. They had destroyed something precious. They would learn the consequences. The algorithms were ready, the data prepared, the campaign mapped out to maximum psychological impact. I never suspected my obsessive knowledge would become a weapon, my privacy paranoia transforming into the perfect tool for calculated revenge. Tomorrow it would begin. Clara's presentation to executives, Barry's duck herding competition, their romantic dinner afterward, all interrupted by the digital ghosts I had programmed to haunt them. I became a digital detective. Every night after Clara fell asleep, I traced their movements through the invisible web they'd created. IP addresses, login times, location data, purchase patterns. Most adulterers are caught by lipstick on collars or suspicious texts. Clara and Barry were betrayed by metadata. I disguised my investigation as routine privacy checks. "Just updating our security," I told Clara when she caught me reviewing our network activity. She believed me. Why wouldn't she? Digital security had always been my domain. My obsession grew methodical, clinical. I built spreadsheets tracking their meetups, created timelines of their communication patterns, mapped locations they frequented. Duck herding competitions became my unexpected ally. Barry's ridiculous hobby created perfect alibis for them. Clara would claim interest in photography, offering to document events. Their shared passion seemed innocent to outsiders. I never imagined competitive duck herding would be the backdrop for my marriage's destruction. The absurdity might have been funny in another life. One Tuesday in May, I followed Clara's location data to a regional duck herding championship. I parked 6 rows back, watching through binoculars as my wife photographed Barry commanding ducks with elaborate whistles and hand signals. Between events, they disappeared behind equipment trailers. Clara emerged with flushed cheeks. Barry followed minutes later, straightening his ridiculous herding vest. I felt nothing, just took notes, added another data point to my growing collection. The evidence was overwhelming, but I needed absolute confirmation, something irrefutable, something that would justify what I planned to do. I considered confrontation, a dramatic scene, divorce lawyers, asset division, the typical betrayed husband playbook. But typical husbands don't understand digital ecosystems. Typical husbands can't repurpose advertising algorithms into precision-guided emotional weapons. I'm not typical. I never have been. The final confirmation came unexpectedly. I was reviewing our credit card statements, tracking patterns in their meetups when I spotted it. A purchase at an electronics store during Clara's lunch break. Too small for anything significant, except a burner phone. That night when Clara claimed exhaustion and fell asleep early, I searched our bedroom. The phone was hidden inside her winter boot in the back of our closet. Password protected. I didn't need to unlock it. The existence of a secret phone was confirmation enough. I held the device surprisingly heavy in my palm, physical evidence of her betrayal. I returned it exactly as I found it and installed tracking software on our home network. When she used the burner phone on our Wi-Fi, I captured everything. Messages to Barry, plans for their next rendezvous, inside jokes about me. Arthur's too busy protecting us from the big bad internet to notice what's happening under his nose. That text message changed everything. They weren't just betraying me, they were mocking me. My paranoia about digital privacy had become their inside joke. I watched Clara sleep that night, her face relaxed, innocent in appearance only. The betrayal would have been painful enough. The mockery made it unforgivable. "You've made a critical error," I whispered to her sleeping form. "You betrayed the one person who understands how the digital world watches us all." I decided then. No confrontation. No opportunity for them to minimize or explain. Just cold, calculated consequences delivered through the very systems they thought irrelevant. I remember feeling strangely detached while planning my response, as if the pain had frozen something inside me, leaving only icy precision in its place. Looking back, this was when I truly changed. The trusting husband died that night. Someone new emerged. Someone capable of turning targeted advertising into psychological warfare. My plan required intimate knowledge of data brokers, advertising, platforms, and algorithmic targeting. Fortunately, these were subjects I'd studied obsessively for years. Most people don't realize how simple it is to manipulate these systems if you understand their architecture. Companies do it legally every day. I would just perfect their approach for my specific needs. Creating shadow profiles took 3 days. I linked Clara and Barry's devices, browsers, and accounts to custom targeting parameters. Every digital platform they encountered would recognize these profiles. The beauty of my approach, nothing I did was technically illegal. I was simply utilizing existing systems in innovative ways. I worked methodically. Clara noticed my distraction but attributed it to a work project. I maintained our routine perfectly. Dinners together, weekend activities, even planned our summer vacation while coding her digital downfall. My detachment concerned me sometimes. Shouldn't I feel rage? Heartbreak? Instead, I felt like a scientist observing specimens under glass, cataloging behaviors, planning interventions, anticipating responses. The campaign would start small. Divorce attorney ads during Clara's presentation. To executives. Couples therapy suggestions on Barry's social media. Relevant but deniable incidents that would escalate precisely when they felt safe again. Timing was critical. Their patterns showed they met every Wednesday evening at Maison Rouge, an upscale restaurant downtown. Clara claimed weekly marketing, meetups. Barry told his wife he had client dinners. I contacted Maison Rouge, anonymously, sent them promotional materials about STD testing and relationship counseling, paid for special service for my friends celebrating their anniversary. Each element alone might seem coincidental. Combined, they would create unmistakable patterns that only the guilty would recognize. The server room at my office provided perfect cover for launching the first phase. Remote access to advertising platforms, multiple screens to monitor results, privacy to witness the initial impact. I programmed everything to execute simultaneously. Clara's presentation, Barry's competition, their dinner afterward, all disrupted by precisely targeted messaging. This wasn't just revenge. It was a demonstration of what happens when you underestimate someone's capabilities. When you mistake specialized knowledge for harmless obsession. They thought my privacy concerns were excessive. They were about to discover just how justified those concerns had been all along. My hands didn't shake as I prepared to launch the campaign. My heartbeat remained steady. The husband who loved Clara unconditionally was gone. The friend who respected Barry had vanished. In their place stood someone new, someone calculating, someone willing to use every digital tool available to ensure their complete destruction. You thought my obsession was harmless, I said to the empty server room. You're about to learn it's anything but. The revenge would be slow, public, devastating. I'd ensure every friend, family member, and colleague witnessed their humiliation through seemingly random digital coincidences. Each targeted ad would remind them of their betrayal. Each notification would make them flinch. Each email would potentially expose another secret. They had destroyed what I valued most. I would systematically dismantle everything they valued: reputation, relationships, privacy, peace of mind. The mouse hovered over the execute button. One click would set everything in motion. No going back, no second chances. I clicked. Algorithm. Deployed. Let the ads begin. The first results exceeded my expectations. Clara called me from work, voice trembling. Something weird happened during my presentation, she said. My slides kept getting interrupted by divorce lawyer ads. The whole executive team saw it. I made my voice concerned, sympathetic. That's strange. Maybe your work laptop has malware. It was humiliating, she continued. They had taglines about infidelity and betrayal. Everyone was staring at me. Technology can be unpredictable, I replied, silently appreciating the precision of my algorithms. I'll check your laptop when you get home. Barry experienced similar disruptions. His competitive duck-herding tournament announcement system mysteriously broadcast a notification for Cheaters Anonymous, with his name specifically mentioned. His fellow herders gave him sideways glances all afternoon. Their romantic dinner at Maison Rouge completed the trifecta. Waiters delivered STD, testing pamphlets with their appetizers. The maitre d' presented a special dessert, a cake decorated with broken wedding rings. I monitored everything remotely, watched their confusion through security cameras I had access to, tracked their panicked text exchanges on the burner phone network. What's happening? Clara texted Barry. These can't be coincidences. Someone knows, he replied, but who? Not once did they suspect me, the oblivious husband, the privacy nut too absorbed in digital security theories to notice real life. I created something beautiful in its complexity. Shadow profiles that followed them everywhere online. Custom audience segments ensuring only they saw certain advertisements. Location-based triggers activating when they entered specific places. Their digital harassment appeared random to them. In reality, it was meticulously orchestrated. Every ad, call, and coincidence calculated for maximum psychological impact. Looking back, I'm impressed by my own restraint. I could have exposed them immediately. Instead, I chose the slow burn. The gradual realization that someone was watching. The paranoia of not knowing who. Clara returned home that evening visibly shaken. I played the concerned husband perfectly. Maybe it was just a glitch, I suggested as I pretended to scan her laptop for malware. These things happen. It felt targeted, she insisted, like someone was trying to send a message. I nodded sympathetically. That would be pretty sophisticated, not impossible though. Could someone be tracking me? She asked, eyes wide with growing fear. The irony was delicious. The woman who had mocked my privacy concerns now terrified of being monitored. It's possible, I replied. Data brokers collect everything these days, but who would bother targeting you specifically? She had no answer, just hugged herself tightly on our couch. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. The campaign escalated gradually over the next week. Marriage counseling. Ads appeared whenever Clara browsed online. Local billboard displays changed to infidelity messages when Barry drove past them. Their phones received calls about discreet getaway packages to the exact motel they'd visited. My programming ensured each incident appeared isolated, random, but together they formed an unmistakable pattern only the guilty would recognize. Clara grew increasingly paranoid, checked her phone for tracking apps, asked me about surveillance techniques. The woman who once rolled her eyes at my privacy lectures now hung on every word. Could someone track our location without us knowing? She asked one evening. Easily, I explained, suppressing a smile. Apps, cell towers, Wi-Fi networks, Bluetooth beacons. We're constantly broadcasting our locations. Her face paled. How would you prevent that? You could leave your phone at home. Use cash instead of cards, avoid surveillance cameras, but that's nearly impossible in modern life. I watched realization dawn. There was no escape from the digital web I'd created around them. Phase 2 began when Clara's co-workers received suggested connections to join supporting spouses of cheaters groups on social media. Barry's duck-herding community got targeted ads about when your hobby becomes cover for betrayal. The most devastating element, localized ads that followed them everywhere, visible to everyone around them. Billboards changing messages when their phones came within range, restaurant tablets displaying personalized warnings, even gas station pump screens showing their secret meeting locations when they swiped their cards. They tried going offline, deleted social media, used cash instead of cards, left their phones at home. I had anticipated this, shifted to physical mail and strategically placed traditional advertisements. Duck herding magazines Barry subscribed to suddenly featured prominent infidelity counseling ads. Clara's professional publications included spreads about rebuilding trust after workplace affairs. Their neighborhood mailboxes received flyers about relationship counseling, but only when Clara was collecting mail. Neighbors saw, asked questions, raised eyebrows. The digital noose tightened with each passing day. My algorithms learned their attempts to evade and adapted accordingly. I never realized how deeply satisfying it would be, watching them squirm, seeing panic grow in Clara's eyes, noticing Barry's nervous glances whenever his phone chimed. "Someone's watching us," Clara whispered one night, checking window blinds for the third time. "I can feel it." I embraced her, offered comfort to the woman destroying our marriage. "I'm sure it's just coincidence," I said. "What would anyone gain from targeting you?" She had no answer, just trembled in my arms. Their affair continued despite the harassment. Secret meetings grew shorter, more furtive, driven by desperation rather than desire. They were addicted to their betrayal, even as it unraveled around them. I intercepted their messages through network monitoring. "We should cool things for a while," Clara texted Barry, "until this weird stuff stops." "I'm getting paranoid," he replied. "My wife asked why I'm getting so many calls about motels." They were breaking, slowly, methodically, just as I planned. Phase 3 targeted their social circles directly. Clara's friends received relationship advice ads featuring her exact circumstances. Barry's colleagues got suggestions to connect with local divorce attorneys who helped your contact Barry Kessler. The campaign expanded to their families. Clara's mother received wedding photography memory books with subtly altered images highlighting Barry in the background of our wedding. Barry's wife found personalized ads for private investigators specializing in infidelity cases. None of these tactics would have worked individually. Together, they created an inescapable web of suspicion and paranoia. I maintained my innocent facade perfectly, expressed concern when Clara mentioned strange occurrences, offered technical support to fix glitches, even suggested she might be experiencing coincidences magnified by stress. "Technology can seem spooky sometimes," I told her one evening as she frantically deleted apps from her phone. "But there's usually a simple explanation." Her eyes met mine. For a moment I thought she suspected me. Then she nodded gratefully. "You're probably right," she said. "I'm being paranoid." I smiled reassuringly. "That's usually my job." She laughed nervously, trusted me completely, even as I orchestrated her downfall. The beauty of my revenge, I never had to lie. Never had to confront. The algorithms did everything, exposed their secrets, destroyed their security, dismantled their deception piece by methodical piece. They chose digital tools to conduct their betrayal. Those same tools became their prison. Every device a potential informant. Every platform a possible exposure. I never anticipated how powerful this would feel. Not just revenge, but perfect justice delivered through the very medium they had exploited. The ads followed them relentlessly. The messages grew more specific. Their paranoia intensified with each passing day. And I watched it all unfold, detached and precise as the architect of their digital destruction. 3 weeks into my campaign, Clara confronted me directly. She paced our living room, clutching her phone like a lifeline. "Someone knows," she whispered, voice cracking. "About me, about things in my life. It feels like we're being watched." I kept my expression neutral. Concerned husband, technical expert, trusted confidant. "What makes you think that?" I asked, setting aside my laptop. "The ads, the calls, the strange coincidences." Her eyes darted around the room. "Everywhere I go, there are messages about infidelity and betrayal." I tilted my head quizzically. "That seems oddly specific." Her face flushed. "Maybe I'm being paranoid." "Let me see what's happening," I offered, reaching for her phone. "Maybe there's a technical explanation." I pretended to examine her device, cleared cookies and cache, reset advertising identifiers, all useless against the sophisticated targeting I had implemented. This should help, I assured her. But targeted advertising is incredibly advanced now. Companies track everything. Her eyes met mine. Like you've always said. I nodded solemnly. I warned you about digital privacy for years. Nobody listens until it affects them personally. The irony wasn't lost on her. She who had mocked my paranoia now experienced it firsthand. I never expected Clara to be so vulnerable, so frightened. For a moment, I almost felt sympathy. Then I remembered their text messages, their mockery, their betrayal. My compassion evaporated instantly. While comforting Clara publicly, I secretly intensified the campaign. When they attempted to meet in person to avoid digital surveillance, I deployed my contingency plan. Physical mail arrived at their workplaces, specifically targeted billboards activated when their phones came within range. Restaurant menus displayed, special cheaters' recommendations when scanned with their devices. No digital escape existed for them. Every technology interaction became a potential exposure. I monitored their desperate attempts to evade. They tried new phones, used cash instead of cards, met in different locations. My algorithms adapted faster than they could change tactics. Their digital footprints were too extensive to erase, too interconnected to sever. The most satisfying development came unexpectedly. Through intercepted messages on their new burner phones, I discovered the affair had lasted 6 months. I can't take this anymore, Clara texted Barry. Someone is watching us. It's just coincidence, he replied. Arthur's paranoia is rubbing off on you. Maybe he suspects something, she suggested. Barry's response, impossible. He's too absorbed in his stupid privacy obsession to notice real life. That's why we've gotten away with this for 6 months. 6 months, half a year of deception. Longer than I had suspected. Their cavalier attitude about my obsession hardened my resolve. This wasn't just betrayal. It was deliberate, extended, deception facilitated by their dismissal of my concerns. My campaign entered its final phase. No more subtlety. No more plausible deniability. I crafted an anonymous data leak, revealing their affair, not directly to friends and family. That would be too obvious. Instead, I ensured information appeared in places their social circles would naturally discover. Barry's duck herding community received detailed tournament schedules highlighting dates and locations matching Clara's work trips. His wife received credit card statements with restaurant charges for 2 on nights he claimed to be working late. Clara's co-workers found themselves targeted with oddly specific ads mentioning her favorite meetup spots with Barry. Her mother received digitally altered wedding photos with Barry suspiciously prominent in the background. The pressure built relentlessly. Their text exchanges grew increasingly frantic. People are asking questions, Clara wrote. My boss made a comment about my boyfriend today. My wife found hotel receipts in my email, Barry replied. I can't explain them away. What do we do? Clara asked. His response, maybe we should cool things for a while. Their relationship strained under constant exposure. What began as passion devolved into mutual recrimination. They blamed each other for carelessness, for digital trails, for failing to cover their tracks. I watched it all unfold with clinical detachment. The algorithms performed perfectly, better than I anticipated. Clara grew increasingly unstable, checked for surveillance devices in our home, deleted and reinstalled apps, constantly, examined her car for tracking devices. I maintained my supportive facade. You're under a lot of stress, I suggested. Maybe see a therapist? She nodded gratefully. You're probably right. I'm not sleeping well. I'm here for you, I assured her. The perfect husband, even as I systematically dismantled her secret life. The worst was yet to come. Thanksgiving dinner with both our families provided the perfect stage for the final act. I programmed the algorithm to deliver simultaneous notifications to everyone's phones during dinner. News articles about local infidelity scandals featuring thinly veiled details of their affair. Social media suggestions to connect with support groups for families affected by betrayal. As phones chimed around the table, conversation stopped. Eyebrows raised. Glances shifted to Clara, then to Barry's wife seated across from her. Clara excused herself abruptly, spent 20 minutes in the bathroom, returned with reddened eyes and trembling hands. I've never seen someone so thoroughly destroyed by their own digital footprints, so completely undone by algorithms and data points. Looking back, I'm surprised by my own creativity. My technical execution was flawless, but the psychological architecture truly distinguished my revenge. Each exposure built upon previous revelations. Each suspicious glance from friends reinforced growing doubts. Each questioned alibi weakened their credibility. They didn't collapse all at once. They eroded gradually, their deception washed away by a relentless digital tide of their own making. The final blow came when Clara's phone accidentally connected to our home television during a family gathering. Her message history with Barry briefly displayed for everyone to see before she frantically disconnected. Gasps filled the room. Her mother's expression hardened. My brother placed a supportive hand on my shoulder. Clara fled the house in tears, called me hours later from a hotel room. "I can't come home," she sobbed. "Everyone knows." I maintained my performance. "Knows what, Clara?" Her silence confirmed everything. No more lies. No more pretense. "We need to talk," she finally said. "Yes," I agreed. "We do." The divorce papers were already prepared, delivered to her hotel room the next morning via courier, precision-timed to arrive as she received another barrage of targeted ads about starting over after betrayal. Barry's life unraveled simultaneously. His wife confronted him with evidence collected from their smart home devices. Duck herding competitions barred him after community standard violations mysteriously reported to organizers. Their 6-month affair collapsed in 3 weeks of orchestrated digital exposure, their reputations destroyed not by dramatic confrontation, but by algorithmic precision. No human could have executed such comprehensive destruction. Only carefully programmed digital systems. Only patterns and algorithms invisible to most people. Only someone with my specific obsession could have designed such perfect revenge. Clara returned home once to collect essentials. She looked smaller somehow. Defeated. Broken by invisible forces she couldn't comprehend. "I don't understand how this happened," she whispered, packing clothes into a suitcase. "How everyone found out simultaneously." I watched her from the doorway. "Digital privacy is important," I replied simply. "I've been saying that for years." Her eyes widened slightly. For a moment, suspicion flickered across her face. Then she nodded weakly and continued packing. She never accused me directly, never connected her technological torment to her privacy-obsessed husband. The perfect irony. The final victory. They had mocked my obsession with digital security. That same obsession engineered their complete destruction. Clara returned home unexpectedly on a Tuesday afternoon. I sat at my desk, casually closing tabs displaying her location data. She looked destroyed, eyes hollow, skin pale, hands trembling slightly. "We need to talk," she said. I nodded, maintaining my innocent facade. "Of course." She collapsed onto our couch, the same spot where we'd planned our future, where we'd laughed at movies, where I'd explained data privacy while she rolled her eyes affectionately. "Everything's falling apart," she whispered. "My reputation, my career, my friendships." I tilted my head sympathetically. "What happened?" Her laugh was bitter, empty. "Someone destroyed everything. Everyone thinks I'm having an affair. The rumors are everywhere." I frowned. "That's terrible. Why would anyone target you like that?" "That's just it," she said, voice cracking. "These aren't just rumors. They're true." The confession hung between us. I feigned surprise, shock, hurt. "What are you saying, Clara?" Tears streamed down her face. "I've been seeing someone. Barry. You know him from college." I stood up slowly. "Barry? Duck herding Barry?" She nodded miserably. "It just happened. We reconnected at a charity event last year, started texting, then meeting for coffee, and then sleeping. Together, I added coldly. She flinched. Yes. I never expected confession to feel so hollow. I'd orchestrated her complete exposure, arranged every digital and social humiliation possible. Yet her admission brought no satisfaction, no closure. Looking back, I should have anticipated this emptiness. Revenge is most satisfying when the target knows exactly who destroyed them and why. How long? I asked, though I knew precisely. 6 months, 2 weeks, 3 days. Does it matter? She countered weakly. It matters to me. She sighed deeply. 6 months, but it's over now. Barry ended things when everything started coming out. Of course he did. My algorithm had destroyed his marriage too. His wife had received targeted ads for divorce attorneys during their anniversary dinner. His duck-herding community had blacklisted him after anonymous evidence of moral turpitude was submitted to organizers. Clara continued, words tumbling. Out. Someone knows everything, Arthur. All our meeting spots, secret messages, private jokes, it's like they've been watching us constantly. I sat down across from her. Curious now. Who would do that? I don't know, she whispered. At first I thought it was Barry's wife, then my boss, then mutual friends. But this is too sophisticated, too relentless. She had no idea. The architect of her destruction sat directly across from her, wearing her husband's concerned expression. What exactly has been happening? I asked. Clara detailed everything. The ads during her presentation, restaurant incidents, mailbox flyers appearing only when neighbors were watching, friends receiving personalized suggestions about infidelity support, family members getting digitally altered photos highlighting Barry at our wedding. It's like some invisible force is exposing everything, she concluded, destroying my entire life with surgical precision. I nodded thoughtfully. That does sound sophisticated. I'm desperate, Arthur. I need help. She leaned forward. You understand these systems, the digital tracking, the algorithms. Could you figure out who's doing this? The irony was exquisite, begging the architect of her destruction to identify himself. I pretended to consider her request. I could try, but I'd need to see examples of what's happening. Clara grabbed her laptop frantically, opened browser history, social media accounts, email inbox. Each revealed exactly what I'd programmed. Perfectly targeted exposures, strategically timed, revelations. This is impressive work, I commented, examining my own handiwork. Very sophisticated targeting. Can you stop it? She pleaded. I closed her laptop slowly, deliberately. I think I know exactly who's responsible. Hope flickered across her face. Who? You should probably see for yourself. I walked to my desk, opened my laptop, entered passwords to access the campaign dashboard, turned the screen toward her. Clara approached cautiously. Confusion crossed her features as she stared at the complex flowcharts, the targeting parameters, the execution timeline, her name and Barry's central to everything. Understanding dawned slowly. Horror replaced confusion. You? She whispered. This was all you? I smiled thinly. Who better? The husband too absorbed in his stupid privacy obsession to notice real life. Her face paled as I quoted their exact text message. How did you know about that? I know everything, I replied calmly. Every message, every meeting, every time you mocked me while betraying me. Clara backed away. But how? You thought my obsession was just a quirk, I explained. A harmless eccentricity. You never understood that I see patterns others miss. She collapsed onto the couch. The motel ad. That's how you first knew. I nodded. The algorithm betrayed you before you could betray me. Arthur, I'm sorry. She whispered. The affair was a mistake, meaningless. That's the tragedy. I responded coldly. You destroyed our marriage for something utterly trivial. I turned my laptop to show her the full campaign schematic, the methodical progression from subtle suggestions to public exposure, the precision targeting ensuring only relevant parties saw specific content. You did all this? She asked. The ads, the calls, the emails to my family? I did nothing illegal, I clarified, just repurposed existing systems. The same ones that track us every day, the ones you never worried about. Understanding transformed her expression. The husband she'd dismissed as paranoid had weaponized the entire digital ecosystem against her. It was just an affair, she protested weakly. People make mistakes. It was 6 months of deliberate deception, I corrected, while mocking the very knowledge I used to expose you. I closed the laptop, reached into my desk drawer, withdrew divorce papers already prepared. Everything's specified here, I explained, sliding them across the table. Fair division of assets, no alimony, clean break. Clara stared at the documents. You planned this all along. I plan everything, I replied. You should know that by now. She made one final attempt. We could try counseling, work through this. I almost laughed. There's nothing to work through. Your reputation is destroyed. Your affair is public knowledge. Barry abandoned you the moment exposure threatened his comfortable life. You're enjoying this, she accused. My humiliation. I'm simply ensuring consequences align precisely with actions. Clara signed the papers without further argument, packed essential belongings, paused at our front door. I never meant to hurt you, she offered weakly, yet you did so methodically, for 6 months. She left without another word. I tracked her phone's location to a budget hotel across town, monitored her frantic calls to friends who suddenly wouldn't answer, observed her social media accounts hemorrhaging connections. The digital unraveling continued even after she signed the papers. My algorithms ensured that. Her professional reputation collapsed when anonymous sources provided evidence she'd falsified timesheets to meet Barry. Her rental applications were mysteriously rejected after landlords received warnings about problem tenants. Barry fared no better. His duck-herding community banned him permanently. His marriage ended messily. His business partnerships dissolved after targeted rumors about financial impropriety. I dismantled all evidence of my campaign, erased digital footprints, removed tracking protocols, deactivated targeting parameters, left no traces of my involvement. To outside observers, their downfall appeared like karmic justice, the natural consequence of deception exposed. No one suspected the husband's invisible hand orchestrating everything. Months passed, I rebuilt my life methodically, accepted sympathy from friends who never knew my role in Clara's destruction, maintained the facade of betrayed spouse moving forward dignifiedly. One morning, my phone alerted me to interesting news. Clara had moved across the country, changed her name, deleted all social media accounts, gone completely offline in a desperate attempt to escape the digital persecution. She thought physical distance and analog living could save her. She was wrong. No one escapes the algorithms completely. Digital shadows persist, regardless of precautions. New accounts connect to old patterns. Location data accumulates despite changed devices. Purchasing habits create recognizable signatures. I received a notification that Clara's new identity had been identified by my dormant tracking protocols. Her attempted digital escape mapped perfectly by the systems she once dismissed as paranoid fantasy. A smile crossed my face as I opened my laptop. The campaign dashboard waited, inactive but intact. My finger hovered over a button labeled Phase 2. The algorithms never forget. Neither do I.